So let's say a youth comes to you,
Okay.
right? They just got out of corrections. How do you greet them, and what do you do first?
It's a great question.
Yeah. We have a program director for that now. In the beginning, it was just Harlan and I for several years. And now we have a program director that picks them up from the facility and takes them to get, if they don't have ID, they start working on those basics right away, day one.
Yes.
They get food stamps and Medicaid and identification and just those basic things that they probably don't have. A lot of times they come to us with what they were wearing when they got picked up and committed into the facility. So we have a great partnership with Deseret Industries, and we take them to get some clothing that way to hold them over until they get working.
And then they end the night with a pizza and some soda, pretty much. Or do you want a burger? Do you want a sandwich? What do you want for your first meal?
Yeah.
So they get that, and usually turns into breakfast the next morning. And, we'll pick up some cereal, just the stuff to get them started, some bread, and just basics,
And do they actually stay with you?
Yes, so there's a couple homes that we have located both in Boise and in the Canyon County area. And so depending on what their needs are and where they can be placed, depending on their charges, then we just kind of make a decision on where they can be.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like
Housing's
a group
super
home.
important. Yeah,
Mhm.
housing's crazy important, right? Especially when you first get out. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard just to find housing as an adult with a job.
Yeah. And that's one of the things we learned early on when we got our start job coaching foster youth and that were aging out. And we realized quickly we're trying to help them plan a career path, but how can they think about a career when they don't know where they're going to live when they turn 18? So we quickly switched that over to, okay, well, we need to do this while they're housed. So we need to find housing for them. So
Yes.
that's kind of how our program just kind of developed based on what needs we saw that they had and kind of went from there.
After they come through and they get themselves situated and settled in their room, the next day they're right at work. They're introduced to the program checklist and they're off and running. They have their ID, they're waiting on this, they're waiting on that. And then we have a list of a guideline for them to check. So it kind of gives them some order and did I do this? I don't know, let's go back to your paperwork and, trying to give them an idea of how they're going to need to keep track of their birth certificate and social security card, which is, unfortunately, they lose all of that because they're transient a lot of times during that period of time. And so to have a location to where that's available to them 2 years after they left our program, they can come back and say, hey, do you still have my old resume that I worked on or my old application? Say, yeah, it's all saved. Just get back on your email and download it from the drive and you'll have the information you need again.
Right.
So that part's been pretty neat. Then they get into deciding on what types of mental health needs are they have, as far as needing a counselor, as far as needing med management, as far as just having an idea of supports along the way that are provided or available to them. And so
that includes peer support too, right? The other youth like their age that they can talk to.
yeah, they've been. So I laugh about it with the youth that I've had a chance to go and pick up is we're going to tell you everything that we know is happening, and then you'll go find out how it works. So after your first month, I'll come back and check with you how things are going. And, well, you told me this, and this is not happening. So we get a chance to kind of partner up and say, these are the things you said you would provide for me, and it's not. Or this is you said you would be willing to do, and you're not. And so we have that realistic. It takes about a month and a half for the fairy tale to wear off, and that, and then we get to work for real. And in that second and third month, we get a lot of progress because now they're doing it hopefully for them, and they can see some success to the repetition of positive influences. And
Success and stability, right? It sounds like that's a lot of what you guys do is create mental, but also like physical stability and even like legal stuff, like you said, with all the paperwork.
Yeah. And we always say once a Mana youth, always a Mana youth. So, down the road, if they need help, they're always welcome to come back.
Yeah.
I see that program a lot as, while they're in Department of Juvenile Corrections custody with the mental health part, they learn all these great skills and tools. And then they come to us, and I feel like that gives them an opportunity to practice those things that they've learned because they have somebody kind of reminding them, remember, this is what you were taught and what you said you were going to do. And so it's kind of like a step down to being completely independent. So that's what we hope to do is, offer them an opportunity to practice and use those skills.
I've been taught so many different times from the youth that have come out on how to communicate appropriately and just how to do it from a place of concern instead of a place of questioning, and meeting them where they're at. And so I used an example. Can I say his name?
No.
I really want to because I love that kid. He really taught me a lot. Anyway, MG are his initials. And it just to communicate, and to be open and to be fair. It was so, we enjoy our work because it allows us to grow, and for them to see us make a mistake and to apologize and to get back on track. And, was helpful to him because I use this on my peers, but I've not used it on an adult. So this was uncomfortable for me, but I did it because it was what I thanked him. And I use that with my kids now, and my brother. I use it all the time. So I'm grateful. Yeah, kids are awesome.
They learned some great skills for sure.
So not only do they get a chance to grow, but they are teaching us now. And so for us to be able to allow them to remember those things, there's a group that they all get together, past and present at times. Majority just present. We invite the past if they're clean to be able to participate in the group so they can hear what's going on.
Yeah.
I
think that kind of speaks to what you said when we first started. It's about heart, right? It's about actual caring.
Yeah.
And it takes that and you have to teach that just through example.
Mm-hmm.
You care.
They have to see it.
You care, then they'll care.
Yeah. It's very true.
And I think with when they come to us, they're in custody. The juveniles it's the last part of their custody they serve with us. And we talked for a second about our program director, Carrie, and she has a great balance. And that's what's so important of holding you accountable to the things that you're supposed to do and the things that you've said you've done, but then also knowing that we care. We care about you. And that's why we're holding you accountable. This is in your best interest. So it takes them a little bit to realize that sometimes we become the enemy because of the accountability piece, at first, like Carlin said. Then after a month or two, they're like, oh, these guys really do care about me. And then we really get to work. So
it's really nice. Usually it's 2 years after they've left us. I go back to that number all the time, but it really has been fun.
They come back and
or they
apply
pass
for a
through.
job with us often. And
Yes.
or,
That's true.
Bring their kids, bring their babies to meet us, and spouses, and it's kind of cool.
So one last question for you: What does the future hold for you? What's next?
Yeah, so we have quite a few programs, but one of the things that we feel like is really needed here that we hope to have up and running by the end of the year is a residential program, mental health based for under 18-year-olds. We've been doing, since 2009, we've been doing the residential program for the over 18-year-olds. Excuse me. But I think that's really underserved here in Idaho. We're shipping all our kids to Utah or other places. So we look forward to being able to help the kids that are under 18, and mostly because keeping it in state allows you then to also help the family. So when they again go back home to the family has learned some of the tools that they've learned while they're in treatment. And
when we first started this whole thing, that's where we wanted to plant our flag, working with the 18 and under, because we knew that if we had an opportunity to influence them early on and give them options and allow them to see or help them learn how to make decisions in a healthy way or in a way that can provide them success, we thought we could help. We opened up a temp service for felons to provide opportunities for employment. Difficult demographic with adult individuals that are in that world. Sometimes obstacles prevent them from getting to where they need to. So we needed to then see, well, where can we affect? Or where do we think we can affect the most positive change? And it was with the younger demographic to be able to help them. And
so it took a little while, but we're getting
yeah. But I feel like everything that we've done up to this point is preparing us for that, because now we have an understanding of working with health and welfare and the correctional system, and then we have an understanding of working with insurances and the needs that are there, and then working with the legal system and understanding how to operate in that world and who we can turn to when we have questions or needs. And now we have the staff and the people that can really lead that and develop that program. And which our heart that's where our biggest part of our heart is in that. We haven't even got to the part that we love the most, and we enjoy every part that's come up to this point because it's giving us now a clear picture of what we hope to accomplish, and is to create that village, that wraparound service that will ensure their safety and ensure an opportunity for them to have a safe place to be. We've grown up. We've grown up in lives that have been tough, and we've had those experiences ourselves. We've had people in our lives that have lifted us, and how important they are to our growth and us advancing to be able to now go care for somebody else. And so those are the lessons we hope to teach and to share. And if they accept it, wonderful. And if not, they've been touched by someone who loves them, and they can move forward.
We're from Hawaii, obviously, with Mana and everything.
Sorry.
There's actually legislation in Hawaii that says that lawmakers and decision makers in government positions have to operate in the spirit of aloha, which is love and respect and caring. And what a cool world we'd live in if everyone, did that. And so that's what we're hoping to provide is, a safe space for these kids and adults that maybe haven't had that, and
we're not for everybody,
it's possible,
and that's okay. We're just on their journey. Like my wife is saying, just a part of hopefully a positive experience that will lift them when they're in the crap. And I turn back to those moments in my life, and I call those people still and thank them, and text them and appreciate them. Especially when I see one of our guys go through some crap, man, it just takes me back to I better call Papa Chang and let him know how much I love him. So, and in turn, we get those calls.
Yes, that's the best.
It's nice to have that opportunity to develop a relationship, a friendship. After this stuff is done, you've checked all your lists and you're off probation, and we can be buddies, and we can go hang out, and we can go do stuff together. And so that's what our hope is, that they'll never need us again, ever in their life, but they'll want to come hang out. And if there's an opportunity, they want to be there because of that feeling. And we hope that we can generate that in their hearts and allow the mana to affect them in a positive way and use that energy to lift. So we're grateful.